channel. I'm Will, aka Koiza, and today we're going to be checking out a somewhat of a deck profile. I wouldn't quite call this type of video a deck profile. It's more or less just a deck build with some of the cards that you could include in a deck like this. And today's deck that we're going to be checking out is post-rotation Whimsicott. So the Whimsicott we are talking about is the one from Vivid Voltage with that Flying Fury attack, which discards tools and does damage, I think maximum of 240 or 250 in that way. So basically, starting off here, this deck is going to run a 4/4 line of Cottony Whimsicott. That's great just to get maximum consistency on those Whimsicotts, which is awesome. Just overall super helpful. Up next is another card that the current Whimsicott builds don't really run, but I think probably will be a helpful inclusion in post-rotation since we're losing so many Sun and Moon cards, such as U-Turn Board. What we got here is a 2/2 line of Trubbish and Garbodor. That's at least what I would say you should run in a deck like this. Because this is not going to be your main attacker, but Trash Cyclone can come back, hit hard, and recycle all those tools, get them back to your deck. So you can go Whimsicott, you can Flying Fury, then you can take your Garbodor, bring it up, Trash Cyclone, do a ton more damage, and cycle all those tools back in the deck. So a 2/2 line of this is super helpful. Then next, of course, we do have some tech options for the deck. So that's mostly draw support and some other stuff. First things first, one copy of Zacian V for that Intrepid Sword ability. Lets you draw 3 cards and end your turn. Really good for turn 1 setup if you go first. Next, I've got another draw supporter here, Crobat V. It would be a good idea to run at least a copy of that. My list runs 2, but 1 copy is fine as well. And another good draw supporter, since this deck is very mobile, is Kricketune V. Of course, you're usually not going to find yourself with barely any cards in your hand, but if you do at any point find yourself lacking cards, Kricketune V is a great draw option to come back and get some more cards into your hand. Up next, we do have a damage boosting Pokemon here. This is, of course, Galarian Zigzagoon. Very good for getting some more damage down to boost that 250 damage cap up a little more. Up next, I do want to talk about energy cards we're running in the deck. So the first big one, of course, would be Horror Psychic Energy. I would run a full 4 line of Horror Psychic. Some other energy you can throw in here alongside that could be Basic Psychic. 2 copies of that would suffice. That gives you 6 Psychic Energy to use, maximizing consistency. And then to power up your Garbodors, 2 Twin Energy should be enough. You could bump it up to 3 if you made some space. 2 Twin Energy to power up that 2/2 line of Trubbish and Garbodor. Next, a 4/4 lineup of Boss's Orders and Professor's Research are going to make up our supporters in the deck. Boss's Orders is great for getting up those weaker bench Pokemon to hit with Trash Cyclone or Flying Fury to do serious damage and manipulate the prize trade. That's why you run 4 copies, because, again, post-rotation, there's going to be more space in this deck. And then Professor's Research, again, great for finding those resources, digging, discarding your hand, draw 7 cards, best draw supporter in the game, without a doubt, currently. Next, I want to talk about some of our switching cards we've got in here. So first, let's see. Yep, we got 4 copies of Scoop Up Net to get those Zigzagoons up and pick up those weak single prizers that you've got. Always great. Use it on Zigzagoon, get more damage, or use it on Whimsicott or Garbodor, pick it up out of the active and move it around. But we do have a couple more switch cards here. Of course, we run 2 copies of Switch. Whimsicott does have free retreat, but 2 copies of Switch can be nice. Here's another Switch / Gusting option, came in Battle Styles. This is Escape Rope, giving us the ability to switch our active with one of our benched and switch our opponent's benched with their active with one of their benched. Again, can be a great gusting option for this deck. Overall, pretty helpful. Up next, we have our Pokemon search cards. Starting off with, of course, the 4 line of Quick Ball to search out our basics and get set up pretty quickly. And if we don't draw into a Quick Ball, we can maximize that consistency output by also running 4 copies of Level Ball. Now, Level Ball is great in here to get out your Zigzagoons, get out your Trebushes, get out your Whimsicotts, and your Cottonies. So the majority cards that you're going to need for setup can be searched with both Quick Ball and Level Ball, which is amazing. Overall, very helpful. Now, Garbodor can't be searched out with Level Ball, which is a little annoying, so just to get that consistency, get out our Whimsicotts and our Garbodors, you could run 2 copies of Evolution Incense in your deck. This is a great card just to be able to search out those Garbodors or those Whimsicotts when you might need them, because you may find yourself using your Level Balls early in the game to get your basics set up. So this is a great fallback for those Whimsicotts and a great way to get out your Garbodors. And then next we have a couple other item options you could throw in here. I would say a 2-line of Tool Scrapper is a really good idea just to toss in here, and then a 1-off of Ordinary Rod. That's another great card you could throw in this deck. Now, maybe the biggest part, I think definitely the biggest part of this deck is our Pokemon tool selection. For most of this stuff, we will be running a 4-line of, and it's honestly great to have a ton of tools in here to be able to search those out with Trubbish or get them into your hand with some of our draw supporters like Zacian, Crobat, or Kricketune. But what we have here is basically a 4-line of Vitality Band to boost our Whimsicott or our Garbodor's damage output by 10, which can make the difference between knockout or not a knockout, which is always great. Next, another card from Battle Styles, a 2-line of EXP Share. Now, this is great if you are finding yourself low on basic energy. You attach one of those basic energy to your active Whimsicott, and it gets knocked out. You can EXP Share it easily to one of your bench. Or if you add a twin, you can attach it to this. This gets knocked out, you attach to Garbodor, EXP Share to Garbodor, and you have it powered up and ready to go next turn. EXP Share is honestly a great tool option from Battle Styles because it just gives you that extra energy flexibility across the board if something's going to get knocked out. You can easily mobilize your energy. Again, that's another reason this deck is so consistent. Up next, we have a 3-line of Air Balloon in here to reduce the retreat cost on our Garbodors, on our Zigzagoons, Kricketoons, Crobats, and Zacians. Gives all those free retreat. Actually, except Garbodor. Garbodor's not going to get free retreat, but Whimsicott we're fine with because it's already got its free retreat. And last but not least, to round out the cards, you could throw in here 2 copies of Lucky Egg. That lets you draw cards until you have 7 cards in your hand. If the Pokemon that's attached to gets knocked out, combo that with EXP Share, you get draw and energy mobilization. Honestly, that's pretty great. And that can help give us that extra draw we need to get those tools into our hand. But overall, this deck is mostly focused on consistency cards such as Professor's Research, all our Pokemon search options, and Lucky Egg. Along with Zacian, Crobat, and Kricketune, it's all based around consistency and having a solid draw engine. Yeah, this deck is basically Whimsicott post-rotation if that's what you want to play as a fun rogue. It's obviously not going to be meta, but it is definitely still going to be able to hold up against the big decks. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you leave a like and comment on any changes you could make, and definitely subscribe. That's always going to help get into people's recommended, help out the algorithm a little bit. But again, thank you guys for watching the video, and I will see you all in the next deck video.